Hello and welcome to episode 11 of the Christian Life Coach podcast, where we talk all things transformation through the renewing of our minds. We talk about what renewing our minds and being transformed looks like in real life, in real time. I am Shanna Pizer, your Christian Life Coach. Okay, let's get started. This is episode 11 of the podcast and episode 6 in our current series, which is about weight loss. So far in the series, I have talked a lot about the importance of mindset in weight loss. We've talked about what to let go of. We've talked about the power of focus, how self-care can be a weight loss protocol, the benefits of intermittent fasting in weight loss and in general. And so I would love for you to go listen to those. And for today's episode, I had something else in mind that I was going to talk about, but life happens and teaches us lessons and mixes things up sometimes. So I am talking about something very relevant to me this week, and maybe you'll be able to relate, or maybe it's just me. Just kidding. This is going to be helpful for so many people. So, why am I talking about the topic that I'm talking about today? Well, I had, let's see, in February, I was sick. And then we went to Washington to spend the last week of February with our son and daughter-in-law to help take care of my sweet baby boy. And then we came home, and it's birthday month. It's March. So my mom's birthday is this month, one of my best friends, my birthday, my husband's birthday. And so we just hit March running with birthday after birthday. And what happened was I woke up on Monday morning and was like, okay, it's time to get back on the wagon. And so I have been taking the steps to be more consistent in my habits and all of that. So what we're talking about today is help. I've fallen off the wagon. Now what? So if you find yourself in a place that you haven't been doing the things and you have been, like me, overindulging, underhydrating, I was still working out consistently-ish, but I was not feeling good. I was feeling kind of gross. And that's not how I want to feel. And I don't want the scale going up. So what do you do when you find yourself in that situation where you're like, I've fallen off the wagon, it's time to get back on the wagon, or whatever the metaphor is that you use? So number one, look at the facts without judgment and only grace. And I love the facts are what's true. And John 8:32 says the truth will set you free. And so when we acknowledge what is real, what is true, there is freedom in that. So acknowledge the facts, accept what is real, accept this is where I'm at. Don't argue with reality. Don't argue with what the scale is saying. Because when we are arguing with reality, that leads to feelings of guilt and shame, and we resist it. And then that just leads to more of the same behavior that we're trying to change. So the scale is up. I don't feel great physically from all of the overindulging, from the staying up later than I normally do, from eating later at night than I normally do. So I was doing all of those things over the past few weeks. And also, I have been pretty consistent about getting my movement in. So, what is true? Where are you at? What has contributed to where you're at and where you feel and how you feel? So, just look at the facts without judgment, but with grace. Be kind to yourself. And by the way, since we're looking at facts, just so you know, there is factually no wagon to fall off of. So when you think that you have fallen off the wagon and that you're ready to climb back on, this wagon doesn't exist. And the wagon metaphor really isn't even helpful. It promotes all or nothing thinking. So I'm either on the wagon doing all of the things right, or I mess up and I'm not doing all of the things right. So I'm off the wagon. I've fallen off. Also, you don't fall off even if there was a wagon. You're climbing off or jumping off. You're not falling. So it's either one or the other. You're either on the wagon or you're off the wagon. And thinking that I'm off the wagon, that can lead to that shame, blame cycles that undermine your consistent progress. Also, thinking about I'm either on or I'm off, we can get into a habit of thinking in streaks. Like, as long as I'm doing everything perfectly, everything's great, I'm going to keep going. But then you mess up and you break that streak and you're off the wagon. And that leads to being more off the wagon. And again, there is no wagon. So if we look at our progress, not doing it perfectly, but making progress, and progress isn't perfect. There's going to be times when you don't do what you had planned to do, and that's okay. You haven't fallen off the wagon. You simply made a choice. So in reality, life is a journey. There are hills, there are valleys, there's natural shifts and changes. And sometimes you're like smooth sailing, and sometimes you hit a bumpy patch, and that's okay. And no single meal, no single overeat, no single piece of cake ruins your progress or ruins a whole day or ruins anything. It's just a choice that you've made. It's the overall progress, it's your overall direction that you're moving in that matters. So the good news is you can never fall off the wagon. Okay, so that was number one by a really long way. Look at the facts without judgment, but with grace. Number two is forgive yourself. So look at the facts. This is what happened. And I forgive myself. I ask for forgiveness, talk to God about it. If it's something, I'm sorry I didn't keep up what I said I was going to do. I'm a double-minded man in all my ways, unstable in all my ways. So forgive yourself. There is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. Jesus is not condemning us. So we can let go of that self-condemnation. So what are the facts? Forgive yourself, seek forgiveness. And number three, when you have what some like to call fallen off the wagon, but we know there's not a wagon, the next thing you want to do is go mining for the gold. What can I learn from this experience? What would I like to do differently in the future? How can I use this to help me navigate life better? And then, so this is like, okay, I want to get back on track. I want to recommit to my habits. So then what? Start where you're at. Revisit your goal. Is this goal that I say I've been working towards what I actually want? Like, do I even want to pursue this goal? And what is it? So what is the goal that I want to pursue, that I want to achieve? And then re-engage with your whys. Why does this matter? Why is it important for me to reach this goal? And we talked about that on a previous episode. How do you want to feel? How do you expect to feel when you reach that goal? And acknowledge that it's going to be hard sometimes. And you can do hard things. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So we're going to start where we're at. We're not, if it's been a while, if you have let go of your habits and it's been a while, then you might not jump right back in to tracking, 5 habits. You might want to just start with 1 habit. Start with water. If you don't have your water on lock, start with your water. Pick something to start with. Don't plan to go all right back into it if you've been out of practice. So practice one thing at a time. Start where you're at. And I like to equate it to like running. If you ran a marathon when you were 26, but ever since then you haven't run and you're 40, you're not going to go out and pick up where you left off and run a marathon. You're going to start with, I suggest, the Couch to 5K training program. So start where you're at. Be realistic about where you're at. Commit to what you're willing to do consistently. So what can be really helpful with this is to create a sustainable protocol. When I work with coaching clients, that's one of our first steps is, what is the goal? What are the steps that are going to get you to that goal? What are the actions that you need to take consistently to reach it? And then we put a protocol into place. So what is a sustainable protocol that you can practice doing consistently? And some of the things on my protocol is being intentional about when I eat, what I eat, and how much I eat. I practice intermittent fasting. And so I fasted from dinner Sunday night, which I ate later than I like eating dinner. I think it was about 7. So I fasted from 7 o'clock on Sunday evening until noon today. And today is Tuesday. So I typically will do a 24-hour fast from Sunday evening to Monday evening. And I wanted to do a little bit longer one to reset myself to get back into my habits consistently. So that is my protocol. If I go on vacation, I typically fast for 24 hours when I get back. When I go to Washington to visit the kids, I typically fast for 24 hours when I get back. I want to be intentional about hydration, about sleep, about moving my body. And I want to use my planner and my habit tracker. So those are pretty much my protocol. And focus on progress, not perfection. So we are starting where we're at. We're committing to what we're willing to do consistently, and we're doing it all from a place of love. And this is what I base all of my coaching on. Start where you're at, commit to what you're willing to do consistently, and do it all from a place of love. So notice when that negative self-talk shows up, when you're beating yourself up for all of those things that you did that you've already forgiven yourself for. Remember, you've sought forgiveness, you've given yourself forgiveness, and you have decided to move on. So when that negative self-talk comes up, notice that, pay attention to that, and it's going to lead to feelings of guilt, shame, regret. whatever it is. And so when you notice that you are having those thoughts, or it might be that you start noticing that you're feeling shame or guilt and you're hiding, when you notice it, remind yourself, negative self-talk does not lead to positive action. You're not going to shame yourself into taking care of yourself. You are loved by the creator of the universe. You are a daughter of the King of Kings. You are a princess, for crying out loud. There's nothing that you can do, there's nothing that you can fail to do that will ever make God love you any more than he already does or any less than he does. We're not doing anything to earn his love. He loves you no matter what. And as I was making notes for this podcast, as I wrote that, it brought to mind the song Jireh. And one of the verses says, I'll never be more loved than I am right now. Wasn't holding you up, so there's nothing I can do to let you down. It doesn't take a trophy to make you proud. I'll never be more loved than I am right now. And I love that song. I love those words and the meaning. And we would do well to remind ourselves of that consistently every day. And when we love something, we are loved by God. We are created by him. We are made in his image. And when we do things from a place of love for ourselves, what does that look like? When we love something or we love someone, we want to take care of it. We want to nurture it. We want to keep it in the best condition possible. We comfort, we encourage, we want the best for the people that we love. Imagine taking care of yourself from that same loving place. What would that look like? So, recap. There is no wagon. We can learn from our mistakes. And when you are ready to recommit to your goal, start where you're at, commit to what you're willing to do consistently, and do it all from a place of love. Okay, I have some journal prompts to share, and I will also put them in the show notes. So these are journal prompts when you find yourself in this place where you have given in to whatever, to food, drink, not working out, not drinking the water, and you're ready to recommit, to reset, to start fresh. Here are some journal prompts for you. When I believe, or when I'm telling myself or thinking I've fallen off the wagon, what are the facts? What are the facts? What actually happened? What went well? What did I do well during this time? And this is you're mining for the gold. What went well? What didn't go well? One of the things that didn't go well for me, and I mean, I could have gotten around it. It would have been tricky. I could have done it. I really don't like eating after 6 p.m. So that was one thing that really didn't go well for me. So that would be one of my things. What didn't go well? I ate later than I like to eat. And then what would I like to do differently? If I was in the same exact situation again, what would I like to do differently? How could I do it differently to get better results? And then, what is my goal? Why does it matter that I do the work to reach this goal? What are the actions that I need to take consistently in order to reach the goal? What is going to get in the way? And then how will I handle those things? So those are some journal prompts. I would love to hear how your journaling goes. You can email me hello@shannapizer.com. You can message me on Instagram at Coach Shanna P or at the Christian Life Coach Podcast. I would love to hear what you discover from your journaling and let me know if it was helpful for you to do it. If you want personalized help in reaching your weight loss goals or goals in general, please go to shannapizer.com. You can see what I do, and you can also schedule a right fit call if you want to find out more about how coaching can help you to reach those goals. Thank you so much for listening or watching. Please subscribe, like, whatever it is on the platform that you're listening to or watching. And I would love to hear from you. See you next time.